This business is great because of the fact that we get to work with those that are within our circle of influence. And a lot of times the people within our circle of influence are our family members. That may not be true for a lot of people, but for the Raiwek family, it truly has been a family business for them, for the three siblings. And so I wanted to really get to chat with them and let you know how their journey has been in building this business as a family and how the business has made their relationship as siblings better together. So join me as I have a chat with Nrgis and Ibrahim Raiwek, and of course their sister who can't join us here in iSummit, Nida. Okay, thanks so much for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Truly happy to be having this chat with you because I mean, if there was anything, I couldn't think of any better example of how siblings, right, can not just do the business together, but actually succeed together. I mean, you are famously known for really wanting to be doing this together to the point that you want to progress together, you wanted to get appointed together as V-Council members, right? Yes. So, I mean, that's great. And I think that's something that we can all draw inspiration from. So, let's go first with how this business has made your relationship as siblings better. Maybe you can tell me first how it was prior to the business and how it is today, now that you've been doing the business. Nrgis, since you were the upline.
Yes. Thank you, VP Donna. First of all, when we started at a young age. So it was like, I started at 22, 19, my sister was 23. So we started at different ages, and we studied together. We went to the same university, and but we were like regular siblings. Everyone had their own thing. Doing the business together definitely brought us closer in many levels. Weirdly closer together in so many levels. It's where we got so close to the point that we do the business in a way that our accounts, our decision making, our even investments are done together. We don't. It's not like other siblings who have one has their own account or one does an investment. We do everything today together. I know my mom when she was raising us always said, whatever you guys do, I want always you three to be together. She always told us that, and then we just today she said, I told you I want you guys to be together, but not this.
So your mom herself,
yeah, she's like to that level. Like she sees a lot of things. She's like, okay, guys.
Oh, she's already sounding off the alarm. So give me an example of how things the business has brought you together, and how did the business bring you together that close in the first place? Was it something that you learned? Was it just that shared experience of building? What was it, Ibrahim, that brought you close together?
Honestly, starting, I feel number one was that we had a very big goal, all three of us, to really make it. All right, to make a lot of money, to become successful because of our previous life. I mean, even when people ask me how old I am today, I always say 10 years. I don't believe in. The years before I started in Kiyonut in the business, it was really tough. All right, financially it was very tough. We learned a lot. All right, but there was a lot of challenges growing up. So when we started, we just really felt that this was the door. This was it. That everything's gonna go from there. We really had a very big vision that we were living it. Even the early days, living the life of maxing out, living the life of that we're gonna make it. It got us really close together because we really worked hard. At the beginning, we were all, our first decision was to quit our jobs, all three of us, okay? And the second thing was our trips together. That brought us really close because we travel all our trips together, whether it's VCons, every trip we're always together.
Was that an intentional decision to do it all together all the time?
It just happened.
It just happened.
And then each one started running we were holding each groups, and we just started, it just happened.
Describe to me your a typical, decision-making process, right? Let's say we need to build. I know you started building in Saudi, and then you expanded into the Gulf area, which is where you're focusing on. Yes. Let's say you were going to. Let's say Nrgis wanted to expand it into Oman. Okay, for example. Right. What was the decision-making process like for that?
Basically, we have a WhatsApp group called the Rywicks, okay? And we have any decision anyone wants to do, or an idea, or a plan, okay, or a new promo, any new thing, we'll write it in the group, and then we'll do a vote system, which sometimes takes a lot of time. Like how much time? It really depends on the decision, but sometimes
it
would
go
take
as
days,
long as days,
and it would end with no decision. Then, guys, come on, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing, guys?
Right.
So, and usually whoever the majority wins. So
2 votes wins.
2 votes wins. Okay.
And sometimes we settle for the medium or the middle decision. I mean,
did it ever get to the point where you got into a fight or an argument? Yeah.
A lot.
How did you resolve those?
That's for sure.
Nurgis.
See, we're 3 siblings. At the same time, we're each have our own character in a whole different way. The only good thing about it is that our hearts, the good thing about building with siblings is that you, in the end of the day, know our hearts mean well and our vision and purpose is one.
So no second guessing about the heart,
so we know
right?
in the end that we're trying to reach the same
it's
goal.
The benefit of the network. Yeah.
It's the benefit of the network of our business, and we know that. So probably if we weren't siblings, we wouldn't be doing this many arguments. Right. Like, oh my God, we can get really angry.
So you have had a lot more arguments doing the business together than prior.
Yeah. And sometimes,
but you've gotten closer also together.
Because we understood each other's mindset more and mentality, on the agrees and disagrees. Yeah. And sometimes we go back to it.
We don't know how to make our decisions, then we can get a... But usually what happens is when we can't make our decisions and it gets really heated up, we like one will play the middleman. One of us will play the sane person, and usually that's my sister Nida.
That's Nida.
She's like the mother figure.
She is.
Yeah, so the mother figure. So she'll play the sane one, like, okay, guys, this is what I think, and this is what I think, and we'll be like, okay.
And it'll take a lot of time for her because she'll sit with her and then sit with me and then tell me and then say no, she meant well, and then no, he meant well,
and then we have to go and think of the main purpose.
Right. By the way, Nida, I'm missing you here.
We all are.
Yeah,
we all are.
Yes.
All right. So tell me some of the struggles. Maybe 1 or 2 stories where you've really struggled because you were siblings. You've struggled in the business, or because of the business that the relationship faltered, or maybe was there ever a point where it was a struggle for you because you were siblings?
I don't believe the struggles went that long. I mean, usually it gets solved because usually about certain decisions, which sooner or later somebody will convince the other. But I don't believe it was a big struggle. It really helped in understanding each other. So basically, after 10 years of doing it, each one knows what the likes and the do's and don'ts of the other.
Did you have to sit down and set agreements on how you were going to resolve conflict, or how you were going to arrive at decisions or solve problems? Or did it just kind of like come naturally?
I think it really came naturally.
Evolved.
Really structured itself.
Yeah.
But are you resolving problems differently today than 10 years ago?
I personally believe we've changed big time on that area, because in the beginning we were more aggressive because we really wanted things to work. Our beginning in the network was like I would say, compared to a lot of stories I hear in a lot of people's networks, it wasn't us starting in Saudi in a small village and us not being Saudis. A lot of things that made it not
and a young age.
And at a young age. And 10 years ago, we were like, no one took us seriously. And 3 kids, they used to call us the V, when we called us.
When the leaders show me the pictures of the early days, and I use that as a joke with the leader, they're like, how did you guys believe me?
Yeah, like, how'd you guys join?
I look so weird.
Like, I wouldn't believe it.
I know.
And honestly, that, in my opinion, that the reason they did believe it was because we really believed in what we did.
Right. And would it be fair to say that it was also because there were the 3 of you? It was not just one person. Yes, but the fact that there were 3 of you, right? Although, and that would have really compensated maybe for the age or the perceived lack of experience, because this 3 power, it made such a powerful force.
And the beauty about building together is that we can, we spent maybe the first 2 years hardly seeing each other, because each one would hold a city in a different country and do things. So we hardly seen each other, but at the same time, we know exactly what each one is doing, because in the end of the day, we're going to switch groups and we're going to be dealing with different areas. So we have to be updated, and we speak more than any normal sibling would speak with each other. Till today, we talk on the phone maybe hours.
And we always have our meetings together because we don't want the so let's say if a downline, one of the leaders spoke to her, spoke to me, we can't look like we don't know.
Right. And
So
we
any
don't want to be played.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what made the WhatsApp group come. Is that we're in different cities, guys. This person spoke to me, and this is what I said.
So what have you seen duplicate in your team from how you've been doing this as siblings?
What I've noticed since we've started as siblings, and this could actually, the main point that helped us, even though we looked young and all that, is that they thought like if they're doing something and they believe in it so much that they made their whole family do it together, it's definitely legit. This is definitely something they're seeing in it. So what happened is that they ended up duplicating the same thing. Any people who join, our first line leaders, second line leaders, are usually sisters, siblings, husband, wives, mother, daughter.
Right.
And our whole network is like family now.
Right.
They've seen how
Literally.
nice it is, so they really
Right.
pushed more to get their siblings with them.
Yeah. We got a whole family group of leaders.
Right. So what would be one of the top pieces of advice you give them to make it work for them?
Especially when it comes to siblings, especially if their effort is the same, I always suggest, and I really believe it's a very good move to split the income, the commissions equally, whether they're 2, 3, 4, as long as their effort are the same, and they're as serious as each other, because it wouldn't create any issues of because we all have ups and downs. So if a person's one sibling's on a downtime, all right, he'll get affected by it. So we always advise them to split equally the income. It makes it more focused, not worrying that that person is doing this, I'm doing this. I believe that's the most advice I advise all siblings, to keep the income equally, as long as their efforts together.
Yeah, as long as they're building together.
And
right?
they get it becomes more of a one vision show.
So my final question then is, what advice would you give to the other, teams or other networkers who are watching, who are maybe struggling to get their family members on board, or would really like to make it work as far as with their, family members are?
Well, first of all, I would say it's really worth it. No matter how hard it is to get your family on board, it's really worth it to get your family on board, because there's nothing like now our talks on the table. It feels weird if you're alone and you'll be sitting on like dinner or lunch and everyone's talking about something else and you have your own world. But now all our conversations, our lunch and dinner, we just have one language, network marketing, Kyonet. Our language is one. So, and it's beautiful to build together. It's beautiful to do the business together. And my piece of advice for siblings who are doing the business together, or family who are doing the business together, is to always see the bigger picture, because it's easy to be petty. You can always get into that petty argument, and if you want to build strong and surpass any issues, always look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, like what you said earlier. Yes. I mean, the heart. Exactly. So always go back to the heart, right? Beautiful. Okay, Ibrahim?
I would say, the feeling, the victory out of it, when you do make it, it's amazing to make it with your family. That's the best thing, and my advice would be that make sure your siblings are with you, your mom, dad, everyone. Now my mom is with us, all right? So she
finally understands.
Yeah, but she believed in us from day one and believed in what we did. So she really pushed us a lot. Even if it was a whole day we're sitting, like, why aren't you guys training? Go train more people. Go.
my mom she's like, I call her the super networker. She's a networker and
without even
realizing it. Her DNA is our business.
Very aggressive when it comes to work.
And
I know.
I'm sure she's the reason why we are where we are today.
We saw how much she worked, so we took it, and then she was one of the main reasons we wanted to change our whole life as a family. So we really, my main advice would be make sure your siblings are with you. All right, do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes, and succeed together. It's the best.
I love that. What's the point of reaching the top, right? If your siblings are not with you, you can't, or your family. How can you really celebrate, right? If you're alone and your family's not with you. So, there you have it, guys. Make every effort because it's worth it. Yes, it's and can be more troublesome at the start or more challenging at the start because of the familiarity might be there, and because you know the person so well that you might end up putting them in a box. But whatever it is, stop being petty, as Nurjis said, rise above, look at the heart, and really make sure that as you journey into this business, that you do have your family members with you, because what better way to reach the top than with the people that you love the most. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.